Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second episode of Couch Racing Chronicles. I am Sonny, the Kyle Busch fan of this podcast, and we hope you enjoyed your Nashville weekend as we look forward to Michigan weekend, as we got a lot of stuff to talk about today that we'll get into.
What's up? AJ here, Team 17 admin, fresh off of Nashville. We had a very okay weekend, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Checker here. Welcome to another episode of the Couch Racing Chronicles. It was a great week, honestly. But we'll get into all about that very soon. So, strap in. We got a lot of topics to talk about, so let's have some fun.
What's going on, everyone? My name is Shani. I am the William Byron fan out of this quad. I kind of like to call it quad because it's just the four of us here. But with those introductions out of the way, let's get the green flags up and let's start this podcast.
All right, so let's get started. Nashville. Raja Caruth won the truck race on Friday night. Truck race was kind of anticlimactic, if I'm being honest, but it was good. I mean, there was a good battle towards there at the end, if I'm being honest. Am I right?
I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, like, sometimes you don't need too much action to make the finish good. You just need something that compels you and just makes the race worthwhile to finish until the end. And seeing that late race battle was definitely an example. So, really happy for Raja. He's somebody out there that really deserves it more than anybody.
Exactly. He definitely deserves it. I mean, that's a big deal for him. Second career win for that 71 team. Saturday, got a shout out checker here. Justin Allgaier wins at Nashville. Had a really good car all race. Dominated a good chunk of stage 2 and stage 3. How about that?
Yeah, wow, first off, man, I had some good luck this week. First, I got that pick right for trucks. I was actually really surprised that I picked Roger Kroof to win. I'm really surprised, but I'm telling you, AJ, that Mayo missile, every time we run that scheme at Xfinity, it's like a fucking lawn dart, you know?
Yeah. What the fuck? Yeah. No, my Discord did something funny. Okay, we're back.
But yeah.
No, I totally agree because that 7 car was fast all night. I'm actually really happy for those guys, happy for Dale Jr., Kelly, everybody. That was a very good win for that team. And then Sunday. Well, I think it's safe to say Ryan Blaney fans are not going to have a toaster bath anymore because Ryan Blaney finally got his first win in 2025 at Nashville. That 12 team was really fast all night, guys. I think it was very safe to say he was the pick to win, but we were all afraid something was going to happen. So, we're going to take it over to Checker there because he's a Ryan Blaney fan.
Yeah.
Did you take a toaster bath?
Well, I honestly did not take a toaster bath, thank God, but I also didn't want to get, off the track. I also didn't want to get shit-faced for Monday and Tuesday because I was hanging out with an old friend. But, it's been an eventful week, honestly. I'm happy that Blaney, got his first win of 2025. We've had a streak of bad luck for the last few. Unfortunately, misses, with Blaney, but I'm happy that we're finally on the right track with the 12 team. And hoping to continue onwards as we continue on to a performance. Hoping to see what happens here at Michigan. So yeah, let's have a good time and let's do some more luck to this week. So let's keep going, 12 team.
We had an okay weekend. I mean, the car was decent in qualifying. Qualified 10th, and then we finished 14th. I mean, the car seemed okay during the first part of the race, and then we struggled. We struggled through the second half of stage 2 and then the last half of stage 3. But knowing Mr. Buscher being the wheelman that he is, we got it done. So I will gladly take a top 14. But we kind of wanted better, obviously. But, I mean, it is what it is. You can't get what you always want in this sport, right? So on to Michigan. And Mr. Sonny over there, how did Mr. Busch do?
Gentlemen, for the first time in 84 years, Kyle Busch actually had a stable and competent race. I cannot believe it. I didn't think it would actually happen, but it did. But in all seriousness, this is really good progress that you want to see from Kyle Busch in this RCR unit. And like, Rowdy fans, I get it. I really want to see him back in victory lane as soon as possible. But with the current speed of RCR and knowing how difficult it is to pull off these races, it's unfortunately you're gonna have to be more consistent. But like, if you're able to continue building off of this and building more great cars and just doing something that'll actually make the drivers happy, then I do believe that we'll eventually have the speed to pull off a victory. Either that or we'll just win at Atlanta and Daytona, because those are the easiest to win in this world.
Yeah, I totally agree. RCR has definitely shown some flash of speeds here over the last couple of weeks, and I think they're finally starting to get it turned around, which that's good for them because, you know, Kyle Busch especially has not won a race in exactly 2 years. So, I mean, the question is, when's it going to happen? Right? So, I think Atlanta would be the best bet. If not, Daytona would be just fine. But it's just only a matter of time, right? So, Mr. Chaney, how did Mr. Byron do?
Mr. Byron finished. I can't freaking speak.
Sometimes you gotta improv.
Yes. Anyways, as I was originally trying to say, we finished top 5 with William Byron. So I think Sunday was a good day for us and for Hendrick Motorsports.
Yeah, all the Hendrick cars were doing pretty good. I mean, Larson started in the back, and the dude made it up to the top 10 towards the end of the race. So good for him. Mm-hmm. So before we get into green flag, red flag, I need to give someone some shit here. And that person in question is Zach, the Team 54 admin on Twitter. This dude thinks he's funny. Look at what I put in the chat here. So this dude thought he was funny and wanted to troll the RFK Racing admin on Twitter with this video he put here.
Three topic again there. Tire rub up front. 77 here, 177 down.
Let me show you something quick. Check this out. Watch this. I'm gonna show you something. Watch this. Watch this. Check it out. This is a steering wheel. I know you guys know what that is. Check this out. Watch this. Watch this. Go left. Turn the wheel left, Chris Brusher. Turn it left.
Down a lead. He's straight here.
You're gonna be quicker than that.
He's coming straight. Yellow's out.
Yeah, this dude thought he was funny. I mean, listen, I love Zach to death, don't get me wrong, but you're such an asshole. But, no, I see what he was trying to do here, but I'll remember that. Because he thinks it was funny because he wanted Chris Buescher to go left.
Where were you the day Team 54 and Team 17 started a Twitter war?
Well, like a Discord server war. But anyways, before we get into green flag, red flag as well, I wanted to say something really quick. I also do want to shout Zach out too because he's actually a really good dude. Go give him a follow on Twitter at Team54 Updates. Really good dude. I've known him for a couple months now, and he's actually a very smart guy. And as much shit as we give each other, he's actually not that bad of a person. So, I really hope Ty Gibbs' day is coming because I'd like to see how he would react to when Ty Gibbs finally wins again. You know what I mean? So, I mean, we got to show each other some love, you know?
Yeah, of course.
But with that, are we ready to get into green flag, red flag?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's get it done. Let's do it.
Let's get red flag. Okay.
Chandy just said, "Nope, I'm done for the day."
Yep, I quit. I'll see you guys later.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. That was the end of this episode. We'll talk to you. No, I'm just kidding. Let's get into like red flag.
Anyways,
we got canceled at 30 minutes.
Roll credits.
Anyways, let's get green flag, red flag started.
All right, green flag, red flag. First topic. Oh boy, this was the talked about the most this entire week. Carson Hocevar and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. made contact entering turn 3 on lap 106, which ends Stenhouse's day. He was also asked by the front stretch on Twitter and asked if he would talk to Carson post-race, and he said, no, that costs money. Green flag, red flag, Sonny.
I wonder where he got that idea from.
But for those who want to see the contact again, just so you get a good opinion, while Sonny's talking, it's in the chat.
All right. Well, there's obviously we gotta look at this on both sides. On Ricky Stenhouse, this is a bubble guy that got wrecked out and had his day done, losing valuable points to what he sees as just an unnecessary move. And then Carson Hocevar, well, I'm trying to put this into words. Okay. So Carson Hocevar entering the corner. He looks inside, and don't get me wrong, like, okay. All right. I know what I'm going to say. He just put it in because it's basically what we've been knowing of Carson to do. He'll not out of malicious aggressiveness, but it's just, yeah, it's so much of this guy. It's hard to elaborate, but all in all, it's just I understand why Ricky didn't go for it, because I don't think he wants a fiasco like North Wilkesboro last year. Yeah, you could crucify me for my stuttering. But all in all, I think I did not come prepared. All in all, I'm not sure what flag fits whatever the hell I just spewed out, so I'll just go red flag. Simply because if he actually went out and started a fight, then we would have a lot more to talk about.
This is a tough one. See, I've watched the video a couple times already, and to me, I want to say I'm red flag on both parts. Okay, in my opinion, Carson should have cut Ricky a break. All right, I mean, I get it; they're both racing for valuable points and playoff points because they're both outside of the playoffs, which, I mean, I understand. But, I mean, you can clearly see it from the video. Carson didn't even lift getting into 3. So, I don't know what he was doing, but, I mean, I don't blame Ricky for being upset, which, I mean, I would be too. But at the same time, that was more of a racing incident than anything. But at the same time, like I said, Carson should have lifted getting into 3 and should have just stayed off of the 47's back bumper. But that's just me. So I'm also red flag for Ricky's comments. Look, I mean, I get it. You're frustrated at the heat of the moment, but you didn't need to make a fool out of yourself by saying that, right? So, yeah. But as of this recording, they still have not talked to each other. So my question to everybody here is, do you think there's going to be some sort of some tension now that they're going to be racing, to get above the cutoff line? Is this personal?
We'll have to see later on. That's basically the idea I was trying to come up with. Essentially, all this is just a bad matter of circumstances piling together, and it just adds on to both of these guys. So we're just got to see how these two race each other as the regular season progresses.
Channy?
Okay, so I'm immediately going to get this out of the way. Red flag on both parts, because I can agree with AJ for one of the red flags, which is the post-match, like the post-race comments about, like Ricky Stenhouse, just being asked by front stretch to talk to Carson Hocevar, but he said no, that costs too much money. Like, dude, if I get that you're in the heat of the moment, but you can't be saying stuff like that.
No, you can't. So here's the way I look at it, because you got to look at this in Ricky's perspective too. I mean, because Ricky's not innocent here, right? Because this would be hypocritical if he weren't to go. To make comments like that is kind of hypocritical because you would think as a young driver, hey, I should probably go call him and talk it out, right? He didn't do the same stuff when he was younger, when he wrecked all those Roush cars he wrecked when he was at Roush and in Xfinity and Cup. So what do I know?
And to answer your question of what you said, like after your comments about like, will this get like super personal because like of the race that's coming up, because both of them are racing to try to get above the cutoff line? This is just me. I'm saying that this may be a bit personal. That's just me. But we'll see how this goes on Sunday.
Well, you got to also keep in mind too, because the playoffs are not until like the end of August, but every point matters. So they're probably going to start racing each other a lot more harder than you think. So I definitely agree. All right, Checker.
All right. Well, I had to like quietly think about it while I was listening to all sides of the party. Well, first off, I'm kind of glad that Carson didn't take notes from I started to call you about Sonny. Good day to take notes from Kyle, and met him in the back of the hauler and all that.
He's bringing out the shorts again.
Yeah, exactly. No, but
let's go back and watch the film. Slap.
Oh shit! Like, I get it. What Carson did, I did see, like I said, the replay a few times. I had to run it back a few times. So I watched it quietly. Yeah, Carson was kind of, in the wrong, with, wrecking out Stenhouse, of course, but Stenhouse, of course, can't say the same. Like, Stenhouse can't say the same shit because, he, like you said, or like AJ, you talked about, he's done the same shit before to other people, but honestly, in the matter of, like, the situation right now with the points and all that, with Stenhouse and Hocevar, yeah, they're both fighting to get into the playoffs, the points, but it's just kind of ridiculous how they should just talk it. They should just talk it over and all that shit, and overall need to figure something out, because both teams are both doing is basically costing both selves a chance out of the spot for the playoffs, and it's just kind of ridiculous how personal sometimes interferes with professional and racing, but it's just me. Of course, I'm red flag on the topic because neither one of them are innocent in the situation. Carson, is in the wrong, and Stenhouse is also kind of in the wrong here. But overall, there's nothing else to say. They actually just need to figure something out, talk it over, and hopefully get back to racing and continue forward.
All right, so before we get to the next topic, I do got to ask a question for everyone here. So I've been hearing a lot of different sides on this argument, okay? Should Carson change his racing mentality and clean up his driving style? Because I've been seeing a lot of people compare him to late 70s, early 80s Dale Sr. What do we think about that?
I think I can understand where the comparisons are drawn from, but personally, I think those are two different drivers in two different eras. But I can understand. Personally, there are some aspects of Carson's driving style that I think are stepping over the line a bit that he could take a couple steps back from, but also at the same time, this is just a driver that wants to push and fight for victories and wins like anyone would. So I'm not gonna condone going out and junking someone like others would have done in the past, but at the same time, and with this car harder to drive and pass, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do to gain traction, to like gain what's best for you and your team. So like a little bit of both. I there are stuff that I don't really see necessary, but at the same time, I think that's just kind of what makes Carson Carson, and I don't think he should abandon it. Like he could clean it up or refine it, but I don't want to. He should be allowed to feel more competitive.
Well, keep in mind too that 77 team has been on rails for the last, I don't know, probably the last 13, 14 months, really, because, I mean, he's a very talented kid. Let me get that out of the way. I respect Carson as a person, but as a driver, he does need to clean it up a little bit. And I totally agree with Sonny on this one. I mean, yes, he's hungry to win. He's very passionate to win. I mean, we're coming to his home track here this week. I mean, he is from Michigan, so I don't want to say he's a dirty driver. He's really not, because I mean, I've seen a whole lot worse, but he does need to clean it up just a little bit. I feel like he reminds me of early mid-20s Kyle Busch and early mid-20s Brad Keselowski. Just a little bit, but nothing too serious out of it, right? So that's where I stand on it. I think he should be. I always will say to a driver, yes, you should totally be passionate. Go for those wins. But don't wreck the whole field, So
Yeah.
You two want to chime in? Checker, Jeremy.
Truthfully, I don't know. Yeah, Carson, has his incidents, on the track, but talented wheelman. But honestly, Carson just needs to clean up a little bit on, his. I mean, track performance. His driving style, yeah, but his track performance is incredible. Talented man, but honestly, I have nothing for. I'm just gonna keep it short and sweet. In order to actually be a well-respected driver, you got to clean up a few, mistakes, and hopefully Carson can improve. I mean, he's like I said, he's got the driving down. It's just needs to try to stay out of trouble, just not to be a pain in the ass,
So, in other words, you're saying he needs to tone down being a little bit cocky.
Yeah, of course. Because, remember how we were just talking about last week, how on the last podcast, last episode, we were talking about, how we were talking about the truck race, with Carson in, and, middle finger, to Lane Riggs and all that shit. That's honestly
that's
disrespectful. Yeah. So, truthfully, if Carson could just clean up that, I think he has a shot, to be more respected. That's just me.
Channy?
I agree with Checker on the cleaning up part, because the more I look back at this footage that you sent in the that you sent in the chat, if he cleans up his act just a little bit more, then he may get respected in the near future. But that's just me.
So, real quick, I know you've been kind of beating this dead horse a little bit, so I'm going to keep this short and sweet. But let's compare this for a second. Let's compare Carson to Kyle Busch when he was at JGR, right? Because everybody hated Kyle Busch's driving style and how reckless he was and how cocky he was when he was in his mid to late 20s and early 30s, right? So I'm going to put Sonny on the spot for this one. Do you think when Carson gets older, probably when he starts getting up into his mid-20s, into his late 30s, or maybe when he gets into a better ride, do you think that's when he'll start getting that respect, when he starts, racing people a little bit better?
I would think so, yeah, because Kyle Busch throughout the 2010s, he had that nobody likes him at it aura. Like his driving pissed a lot of people off. Like 2011, he had like a Brad Keselowski-esque kind of season where he was getting into it with everyone. But then, as I would follow it and watch the career progress, when his feuds and rivalries toned down, and he's his driving style improved to something more just focusing on the win rather than just sending someone into Saturn. So I think the same case can apply to Carson here. I mean, whether it's he stays at Spire or he moves up to another high running team, he could follow the same route and he'll be a loved and respected guy throughout the garage. So, yeah, it's just Carson's just a really great talented kid that I love to follow. It's just I don't want him to get into the same kind of trouble I watched Kyle get through. So just trying to look out for him.
I definitely agree. All right, on to the next topic. Matt Tifft announced on Twitter this past Sunday that he has acquired the ownership of Mansfield Speedway, which is in Ohio, by the way, which has been abandoned since August of 2019. Could this be the chance for NASCAR to return to the track for the first time since 2008? Green flag, red flag, checker.
Yeah, when you told me this news, I was like, wow, that's really surprising. We haven't heard about many Ohio tracks in a while, and I heard about this. I'm like, okay. Well, I watched, Matt Tiff's, some of his videos, and they'd say, will it be, asphalt or will it be dirt? Truth be told, there is, of course, a chance NASCAR can return to Mansfield, but it's probably going to take a little while, of course, just because of all the renovations and everything and restoring the track, of course.
Yeah.
Truth be told, though, I think if the cards play right, that's just me, if the cards play right, if they do decide to make it a dirt track first before asphalt, of course, because asphalt is a lot of money. Of course, yeah, more money, yep. But if they try to attempt to obviously rebuild Mansfield, truth be told, I think this is just my realistic schedule. Give, maybe like for a test run, maybe give ARCA a chance to run on it just to see what it does. Or even like the Nationals, I'm just saying, don't go immediately into like the Craftsman Truck Series. I think you should test the waters, honestly, with like the Nationals, of course, ARCA. But honestly, if you give it a few more years, I truly think you could probably run maybe a truck and Xfinity races on it, maybe sometime. But overall, I think it's a green flag. I'm really curious to see how the track is going to be looking like in the next few years to see how restored it's going to be. But it's just me. Give it a little bit of a guinea pig test run with the lower series, in my personal opinion.
I'm green flag on this because I actually went to Mansfield back in 2008. Was it 2008? I didn't go to the truck race. I went to the K&N East race, and I went to a modified race there. Mansfield is a really fun track, right? So this would be a big deal, but Mansfield is like at a very rural part of Ohio. It's up in north central Ohio. It's about an hour and a half from Columbus. So, I mean, it would be cool to have that grassroots feel to it. Do I personally think NASCAR would return there immediately? Probably not, because from what I heard, Matt is going to put down dirt first, and he's going to run midget cars there and dirt late models and everything like that. That would be cool. Don't get me wrong. I mean, short track racing, if they go back to asphalt, who I would like to see go up there? The Cars Tour. I would love to see the Cars Tour late models go up there. And I would be definitely all for it because, hey, maybe we can get Dale Jr. to run the Cars Tour race at Mansfield, right? So, I mean, I'm excited. And I really wish I went to Mansfield a whole lot more when the Truck Series used to race there because I actually remember that finish with Donnie Leo when he won it in that Thriller in 08. So, this is a big deal for us. And who knows? Maybe we might have the trucks racing on dirt there. And I'd be more than okay with it. So, yeah, I'm green flag. Sonny?
Well, firstly, God bless Matt Tifft. For those who don't know who he is, he was a NASCAR driver who had his NASCAR career cut short because of a seizure back in 2019. So obviously, it's really amazing to see him doing well. Now, secondly, I'm personally green flag, though I also want to add this point of if you do decide to have racing there, whether on asphalt or dirt, don't feel they he shouldn't have to feel limited to the big three series. Like, there are tons of other stuff you could do for reviving a track. Like, if you're reviving a track, you should experiment, see what works, see what everyone likes, and what works best for the track. Like, because like I don't want to just have a track restored and then one of the top three series goes on there, and over the course of time it isn't really well liked, and then the track falls back to where it was. Like, I want to see this track succeed if it's going to be resurrected, and that should mean experimenting with other kinds of series like the Car Story, K&N, as aforementioned. So I'm really green flag on this. I encourage just having different kinds of variety. Just go all out with it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And also, the K&N series is now ARCA East and West now. But yeah, I definitely agree. And I don't know. I feel like the ARCA cars would be great on dirt, but that's just me. There's just something about that Gen 6 body that just says, "Hey, let's go race on dirt," right? So I just hope it's not like a disaster like the Bristol dirt race was with the next gen. So, Channy, how do you feel about this, my friend? We're on topic number 2.
I'm actually feeling green about this, green flag, because I'm not sure who said this, but I think it was you, AJ. Like, does NASCAR immediately want to return to the Mansfield Speedway? And I feel like if it like progresses and like it gets built and all, like the road or something like that, if you know what I mean.
The asphalt.
Yeah, the asphalt. I feel like NASCAR should return to Mansfield Speedway, like, in the near future. So I feel like I feel like this is a really good opportunity for NASCAR to return to the Speedway. So this is a certified green flag from me.
All right, so real quick, my question to you guys is this. If NASCAR did return to Mansfield when the track is all ready to go and completely done, because it's probably going to take about a year and a half tops, right? So what series do you think would be best suited? I think trucks, personally. Keep the heritage.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, the trucks are a lot more easier to work with.
Yeah,
sorry, I didn't know someone was speaking.
Oh, you're good. You'll continue.
I was just gonna say the trucks are a lot more simpler to work with. Plus, there's more story there.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
Similar, of course, to Live Rock, obviously, that's coming, soon to the Craftsman Truck Series this year. I honestly think that the Truck Series should at least give Mansfield at least a try and see how it goes. Honestly, I think they could do something with it, with the dirt track,
Well, keep in mind, that would not be the first time the trucks have raced on dirt, because they've raced at Eldora on the dirt, they've raced at Bristol Dirt, they've also raced at Knoxville, which, out of the 3, I think the trucks raced a whole lot better at Knoxville. That's just me, though.
I still don't know how they missed a flip.
Yeah, I agree. But we'll never know the mystery behind it. All right, next topic. According to Adam Stern, Cletus McFarlane is possibly tapped to be a part of the new NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series program with the Ram truck. Should they decide to send... Wow, I totally butchered this. According to Adam Stern, Cletus McFarlane is possibly tapped to be the part of the new Craftsman Truck Series program with Ram truck. Should they decide to enter the sport for the 2026 season? Checker.
I mean, was this before or after the leaks I saw on Twitter? Wait, what?
Yeah, I saw the leaks too.
I was like, okay, truthfully, first off, can we just talk about that real quick before we get to Cletus McFarlane? Let's talk about truck. Let's talk about the possible return of Dodge, and the Ram truck, coming back. When was the last time we saw the Ram truck? Obviously, in the Craftsman Truck Series.
2012.
So, I mean, green flag on that, of course. Green flag, of course. New manufacturer, some variety, of course, because we've been doing with Chevy, Ford, and Toyota for so long, in all 3 series. But honestly, it's gonna be, if they do decide, to obviously go up with the Ram truck for the Craftsman Truck Series, I think it's a good decision. But I guess the only concern is how is it going to perform? Like, how is it going to perform, alongside the other, manufacturers that have been in there a little longer, because it's been a while since we saw a Ram truck, on the field. And interestingly enough, I know Cleus McFarlane, of course, is like YouTuber, like racing YouTuber god tier shit, or But the question is though, like, why? But why does Cletus, of course, need to be picked, of course, for the Ram, truck program? Like, what if is it kind of like rush it a little bit, because Cletus, of course, has a few select races, of course, back in, this year for the ARCA races, but truthfully, I'm kind of yellow flag on the opinion about, Cletus, going up there, because I just think that if he actually decided to run a full schedule, I feel like he would need more time, to actually get used to the feels, of the truck series. I think if you gave him like maybe a part-time, sure, but like a part-time chance, sure, but like I just don't think that he should be like rushed in, soon enough. But that's why I'm kind of mixed bag on it, because like one side's like I'm happy about a new obviously a returning manufacturer, but then the driver's kind of not fully experienced over the last few races. So it's like, do we really want to rush in somebody that into a returning manufacturer? Will that be basically the chemical to basically mix? Will be the right solution? But I don't know. I'm just don't know what else to say, except that's just my opinion. I'm kind of on the green and yellow side on both topics, so.
Okay. All right. So first and foremost, I'm green flag for Ram returning to the sport. Okay. We want Dodge to come back. All right. And especially not just the truck series, but Xfinity and Cup. The Dodge, the Challenger and the Charger both put a clinic in the sport. So, I mean, I would love to see that again. But the Ram truck especially, oh man. What I am red flag for is picking Cletus McFarlane. All right. And listen, Cletus is a very talented individual. There's no doubt about it. But the dude has a kid and a wife. I mean, he doesn't need to be running a full-time schedule just yet. I don't think it's necessary to rush him up this early when he's only run like a couple ARCA races with a Ford team. So, I really don't think Cletus is a good choice in this matter. But I mean, if they want to do it simply because he's got a shit ton of money from owning the Fun Factory or whatever his speedway is called, I forget. And then him being a YouTube star, I really think that's a very dumb business decision. And I'm not really big into business, but you can't just pick a guy because he's got a hell of a lot of money and he's famous on YouTube, right? So I'm red flag on that. Sonny?
YouTube star being picked because they have money. That sounds like a certain wrestling company right now. Anyway. There's not much else different I could say. I'm basically in line. Ultimately, this is a yellow flag. I'm really glad that Dodge and Ram have this opportunity to get back into the NASCAR fields, but personally, I'm a bit worried on the developments of Cletus if they decide to go for the full-time run this thing. I don't know if this is just for having a guy on the track and just racing, or if they genuinely want to help him through the ranks. Because if it's the former, I would say just do whatever you want, I guess. But if it's the latter, then as Checker and AJ have said, it just really won't work out if he doesn't have too much experience on the actual track under his belt. So, but you know what? We stand the Cletus, so why not? Ultimately, this is a yellow flag, not green or red flag, just kind of in the middle. Just we'll see what happens.
Okay, real quick, I need to share something that's kind of off topic to NASCAR, but
Yeah.
I just got a notification from NFL that Aaron Rodgers is going to sign a 1-year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh
It only
no!
took 84 years.
Well, Pittsburgh fans, time to go 0-18 this year. I feel so bad. I feel so bad for Pittsburgh fans because we have a few Pittsburgh fans as for our friend group. Oh God. Also, God bless Urinate Tree. Also, shout out to him as well. God bless Urinate Tree. It's time for his funeral early.
Dude, UT's gonna fucking shit himself.
Dude,
He's
I'm waiting for that tweet.
You waited all this time for this?
Dude, I'm waiting for that tweet. I'm waiting for that first tweet from Tree. But yeah, let's continue on. Sorry, that was wow.
Anyways, yeah, I'm sorry. I had to mention that, by the way. Channy, green flag, red flag.
I think I'm going to go like straight to the point and say yellow flag.
I mean, that's fair. Nothing else you can say, just yellow flag?
Yeah, just yellow flag. I have nothing to say.
What did you see? Mike Shinoda from Somewhere I Belong?
Yes.
Anyways, next topic. Keelan Harvick scores his first career Keelan Harvick scores his first career Cars Tour West Series win over his father Kevin at Kern County Speedway on Saturday. Green flag, red flag, Sonny.
Well, you see my boy out there, no capping. He took that win from me. He got that W.
Please stop. Please stop. Stop talking now.
Oh my God. I okay. Now that I got that out of the way, I'm green flag because Keelan Harvick, he's on that same line as Brexton Busch and Owen Larson. And Cash Warrior as well. They learn a lot from their dads, and just seeing them put it out to the test and getting the best of their fathers, that's just something really cool. And I hope it continues to develop even further if they choose to follow out full-time careers, because I would love to see what happens from here with Keelan Harvick, because if he ends up becoming a two-time champion, then he surpasses his dad, and then that's going to be a conversation for later. But I'm green flag. I imagine it was a fun race for both of them, and I enjoy having those moments like that.
Yeah, I'm green flag on this too. Keelan's a very talented kid, and I actually remember when he was born. Hard to believe he's almost 13. And he's already got a lot of success in racing. Not even at 15 years old yet. So I think it's going to be cool to see him in the truck series when he gets older. And then Brexton, when he gets older, I think those two are going to be putting on a clinic for sure. Owen Larson, too, and Cash Boyer, too, like to your point, if they all do take the same path, which that would be cool, right? Because that would be the next generation of the drivers we all grew up on, right? So this is cool. And, Kern County Speedway, that's a very, very famous short track over in the Central Valley of California. Kevin Harvick has been very good there over the years. A lot of NASCAR drivers in general have been good there. I know Kyle Busch has won at Kern County. I know Chandler Smith, I think he's won there before. I think Eric Jones has won there too. Just a lot of good names that have won at that track specifically. And good for Keelan. I can't say any more. He's growing up to be a fine young man, and I'm really proud of him. So, green flag on that. Channy. You got to pay attention, hi. We're talking about Keelan Harvick.
I think this is a green flag.
That's all you're gonna say?
Yes.
All right.
I'm just here to exist.
Fair enough. Checker.
Short, just to make this short and sweet. Green flag, but let's just it feels like it feels weird. Keelan and then Braxton. Oh God, oh God. I'm just thinking of that. I'm thinking of that one fucking wrestling gif every time I see it. The fucking rockin' Stone Cold stare. Anyways, I'm getting too distracted. Let's just keep going. Next topic.
All right, fair enough. This one's oh man, oh boy. Colleague Racing did not have a good weekend at Nashville. From Bob Pockris, NASCAR says Allmendinger team made an adjustment on the splitter after pre-qualifying tech today. This was Saturday. They will start at the rear of the field, lost pit selection, and must do a stop and go after taking green flag. Car chief Jaron Antley has been ejected and had his hard card confiscated. Also, later that night, following the Xfinity race, Daniel Dye was disqualified from ninth after failing post-race inspection for rear ride heights. Oh my goodness. I'm red flag on all of this, okay? Because NASCAR just had it out to get for calling. Like, your Cup car fails pre-qualifying tech after an unapproved adjustment, and you fail Xfinity race post-race tech. That's just a kick in the nuts, especially for Daniel, because red flag for Daniel, especially because he got a top 10. I think that was his first career Xfinity top 10 that just got stripped from him. So they are not going to appeal, which I did hear about that in the Team 54 Discord server. It's just unfortunate because, I mean, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, right? But that's just two big blows in one day, and that just makes you want to crash out as a NASCAR fan. So, hate it for those guys. I'm red flag. Sonny?
Oof. Just oof is what I could say. Like, that was just double whammy. Like, God. I'm not sure if there's much else I could say. Like you got Allmendinger, who's lately has not been happy with. Well, he's had a mixture of being happy, but then his car has given him failure at the wrong times. So this wasn't really help. This doesn't really help starting in the back and just losing all that traction he had, and then expanding Daniel Dye. I don't know. It's just colleagues feels like a team that should have a lot more luck, but they just never have stuff go their way. Like it's really crushing to see because their cars are capable of running faster whenever they don't have that expectation on them. They have that tendency to surprise people, but this was just not a good weekend for the whole entire team, and hopefully later on in this down of the season, they eventually get their moments of glory, whether it's in Xfinity or in Cup. But
Checker?
for now,
I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I'm red flag.
Checker?
Wow. Colleague Racing, what the hell happened? What did you all do this time? Man, that sucks, really. Allmendinger, having all those issues before, going on track, of course, starting to the rear. And then, of course, on Saturday, Daniel Dye getting disqualified. It's like, man, what is going on over there at Colleague Racing? Like, what is happening? Because, like, that is a double just pain. Like, not even pain. Like, you can't even, like, take the giant pill from SpongeBob. You can't even take a pill for that. But, truth be told, I don't know what to say about Colleague, about what happened, Just unfortunate for all of them out there. It's been kind of, a rough standstill for Colleague in both series, but I'm just hoping they can turn around something because, wow. It's just sad to see, a vet, like Allmendinger, going out there and doing his best and always getting, like, a lot of shitty cars, every week, but then the Xfinity program is just, also just...
That's just unfortunate.
Unfortunate as well, yeah. But I have...
Yeah.
It's unfortunate because, like, you got a lot of talented drivers. Don't get me wrong, you got a lot of talented... Well, if you don't count Ty Dillon. But,
Well, Ty Dillon's been doing pretty good in that 10 car.
Yeah, picture this, okay? Let's talk about that real quick. Can we just picture how Ty Dillon is performing better than AJ Allmendinger? Imagine saying that in 2025. Imagine saying that in 2025. That is... yeah.
Well, not quite. He's still 30th in points. AJ's 19th.
Still, though, the cars are, better, but it's just... they just need to fix it up, They need to have some kind of turnaround, the next few weeks, because they need to figure something out over there. that's pretty much it for me. So I'm red flag on the unfortunate situation, but yeah.
All right, Channy.
The temptation to hover over one of the flags, pick it up, and wave it for the first time.
You're going black flag, aren't you?
For the Xfinity race, Daniel Dye, disqualified from 9th after failing post-race tech for the rear ride heights, that's a red flag. But for the first time ever on a podcast, that top part, black flag.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why you say that, but at the same time, though, they were just not having a good week. I mean,
I know.
even after the fact, after he served his pass-through penalty on lap 1, he managed to come back and finish 20th, but still, that's going to kill him in points. It really is.
Yeah.
All right, so my thing about this is with the Daniel Dye DQ, that's our 9th DQ of the year across all 3 series. We just had a DQ
last
in the Xfinity race last week, yes, and then at Nashville. I remember I was talking to a couple people, and they said tech was taking a little bit longer than it should have. I said, watch, there's going to be a DQ. 15 minutes later, tech was complete, and there was a DQ. I'm like, oh my God, I called it again. Like, it's just, I hate calling that type of stuff, but it's just, when you know tech usually takes about like an hour and a half, 2 hours after the race is over. When it takes 2.5, 3 hours plus, that's when you know something is wrong. So that's just a gut feeling of me from being a race fan for over the last couple of years. So with that, green flag, red flag is over. Let's get to our Michigan picks. I'm going to start with Checker on this one.
Yeah, originally I sent my picks to AJ at his Discord DMs, a couple, like literally last night, because I thought I was not going to be coming on to the show today because I was busy with some personal stuff. But since I'm here, I guess I can lay out my picks real quick. So we have the Craftsman Truck Series and only the Cup Series this week for Michigan because just 2 series. Xfinity is off right now. So for trucks, since I had kind of had a successful gamble, at Nashville last week, you know what? I've seen this driver have a lot of confidence. I saw him perform well at Nashville last week, and I think it's time for a underdog type of pick here for Michigan. In my personal take, I think Caden Honeycutt is going to get the job done in Michigan. I think it's just time, to keep pushing forward, and I think that this is Caden Honeycutt's time. So I picked Caden Honeycutt for trucks.
Okay, and your cut pick?
Oh, I thought we were doing trucks then cup. Okay, anyways, my cup pick. I've seen this team a little quiet, of course, unfortunate circumstances right now off the track, but I won't get into that, of course, because I don't want to get into law and order stuff with that bullshit. But truth be told, if they could somehow pull this off, I think they could probably maybe do it with the speed at Michigan. I personally think that it's going to be Tyler Reddick's time to win a race finally. I think it's time for Reddick to finally show off and see what he can do. And I truly think he's going to get it done. And of course, my small dark horse, of course, will be Carson this week since he'll be running the truck race. So yeah, those are my Michigan picks.
I will take Corey LaJoy for the truck race, and I will take Chris Buescher for the cup race. My dark horse will be Carson Hocevar for the truck race.
My Truck Series pick. I will ride with Ty Majeski.
Hey!
Yes, a Ford track and Ford's playground. Why not?
Your cup pick?
My cup pick? Well, we were talking about him earlier, but he's been on a hot streak. And honestly, I could theoretically put him as a dark horse, but honestly, with the speed he has, even with work to clean up, I just don't think I can count him out any further. Carson Hocevar will be a NASCAR Cup Series winner this Sunday. And for my dark horse, give me his teammate, Michael McDowell.
Okay.
All
Jenny?
right. Well, let me slide into pit road with Ben Rhodes. And
Ben Rhodes?
yeah, Ben Rhodes for the truck race. And for Cup, let's go with Grandpa.
Oh, he's gonna pick Ty Gibbs. Okay.
Wow.
What's your dark horse?
My dark horse is going to be Cole Custer.
Cole Custer winning a cup race in this economy?
I mean, hey,
It's
stuff might
technically happened
happen.
before.
Yes, Kentucky 2020. I remember that one all too well. All right, so this was actually a fairly short episode, believe it or not, but I guess I gotta go on a rant again.
Oh boy, here we go.
Uh-oh.
Everybody grab the popcorn.
Where do I begin on this one? Where do I begin?
Oh no.
Time for me to go on a rant, huh? What do I need a rant about? I don't really got anything to rant about for NASCAR, but it's more so a fact of Aaron Rodgers signing to the fucking Pittsburgh Steelers.
Here we go. This is going to be a good one. I'm going to get the popcorn this one.
Aaron,
Oh, God.
Aaron, I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. Brother, you're near 50 years old. You need to fucking retire.
All right.
Please, for the love of God.
All right, Grandpa. Time to go to bed now. Honestly, no, for real. This man fucking thinks that he could be like the golden goose of the Tom Brady era, era, but fucking the only thing that he was good for that got checked out was his Achilles tear up on the first season with the Jets. But truth be told, that man, like, what's the point of, playing another fucking season with multiple teams? Hell, at this point, if he starts with the fucking Steelers, at this point, go sign with the Browns at this point next season.
Also, I misspoke. I checked his age real quick. He's 41.
Still
My point. My point still stands, dude. You need to retire. Like Peyton Manning retired when he was in his 40s. Eli retired when he was in his 40s. Big Ben retired when he was in his 40s. It's just you can't keep. Football's a very dangerous sport. I know this is a NASCAR podcast, but it's just when I saw that news, I had to rant about this. It's just, dude, you got a wife and kids. You need to give your body some rest. Like, good Lord, man. You know who else should retire? Since we're going to be on that topic too. Look, I love him to death, and I think a lot of us do. But Jimmy Johnson, he's pushing 50. He's got to retire. Like, I get it. He only does a couple races a year nowadays, but go spend your time with your wife and kids, man. You don't need. I mean, you also have a team to run. You don't need to be racing anymore. Just pure and simple. Could I say this about Brad? No, because Brad's still in his early 40s, Still 40. I mean, like, or I'm sorry, no, he's 41. My bad. But, all these older guys that we grew up around, they're getting old, man. They need to start thinking about retirement. As much as I hate saying this, Kyle Busch needs to start thinking about retirement, too. I think he's got a couple more years left personally, but it sucks because a lot of the people we gravitated towards when we were kids. I know this rant started out as Aaron Rodgers, but I'm just now making this about literally every single old head in the fucking sport of NASCAR and fucking NFL. You know who needs to start thinking of retirement too? Mr. Dennis Hamlin.
Actually, here's a funny story about this. A funny story I read about this today on Twitter. I read a tweet that was talking about, like, man, if fucking Diddy, like obviously loses the appeal of that because of the whole NASCAR charter stuff with NASCAR, of course, if they lose this appeal and lose all their charters from 2311. I read things like, I would think, we were just like, at that point, I think Diddy should be, like, retiring after this year,
Sonny, you might want to help me out on this one, because I don't think I have a legitimate answer for that one. Because, like, as a lot of people may have heard, the judge overturned the ruling for the 2311 and Front Row Motorsports spat that's going on with the charters. I don't really think that's good, because that could potentially mean that those cars are going to lose their charters. And what does Denny do in this situation?
Well, I mean, personally, I'm not Denny Hamlin. I can't personally emotionally speak for anyone who works at 2311 or Front Row, but
This is bad.
yeah, like, part of me would actually consider FO from NASCAR. Like, if that's how they're gonna do my team, then why should I continue racing? Like, I don't know. That's just me. Like, I wouldn't take that.
Here's my question. With this happening, does this jeopardize Tyler Reddick's career? Does this jeopardize Bubba Wallace's career? Does this jeopardize Zane Smith's career? Does this jeopardize Todd Gilliland's career? Does this also jeopardize
Noah and Riley?
Braxton?
Yeah.
Riley.
Yeah, Herbst, remember?
Oh, 2311, my bad.
That's how bad Herbst has been. We forget.
Yeah, we forget he's a part of the team. And hell,
I forgot about Riley.
hell,
Don't worry, everyone forgot.
I was gonna say real quick though, since we're on the topic, but this also is gonna be questioning. I know this is obviously silly season, all that, but how does this impact, like a chance where, like, let's just say Corey Hyde did, want to do a Carson Host or jump up to the Cup Series. Like, if 2311 is not there anymore, then what does Corey Hyde do? But that's just me.
I don't think they're going to shut down. It's more so they have to run open cars. They're not allowed to have a charter. But, yeah, to answer your question, though, this might jeopardize Corey Haim's chance of actually going to Cup. Big time.
Because instead of 36 charter spots, you only get 30.
Right.
That's a small field.
Yeah, and that's like if you told all the old heads that, like, oh, NASCAR should be back to 43 cars, we can't do that because this is the reason why. This is the reason why. Plus, because the charters cost a lot of money, and the fact that you got two teams basically going after NASCAR because of the bullshit charter, regulations. I mean, I don't blame them for going after them, but look what happened because of this. Their teams just lost all their charters, essentially, because they have 14 days. They have 14 days to overrule it. So I'm really going to be watching this closely. But this is messy. This is straight up messy. But now I do want to ask another question. This is more so for Mr. Checker.
Yeah,
we gotta talk about Brad.
Yeah, let's talk about. I guess we can talk about Brad real quick. Let me just put down my bucket of alcohol real quick.
Excuse me. Are you day drinking on this podcast?
Oh no. That would be if we have a bad RFK week. But anyways.
Well, shit, this is door bumper clear. Shit, man, pass me a beer.
I don't have any beer on me, but anyways, we're not sponsored. Anyways, let's talk about what did you want to ask me about Brad?
What do we do? What do we do about Brad? I mean, he had another bad week, unfortunately. I mean, to his credit, it's not really his fault because he he made contact with Corey Haim. But do we hit the panic button now, or should have it already been hit?
Honestly, do we run? Charlotte, of course, was the big stepping stone. It was improvement, but then we saw Nashville, and we're just like, oh, now we're back to doing this again. And hell, look at this. Priest and Busher are all having okay seasons. They're actually having a pretty good season. Hell, you saw Busher's performance last week after of course his major penalty got reinstated. They reversed, yeah. But Busher's doing a hell of a job. He actually performed better. But Brad, it's just been a mixture between either unfortunate, circumstances or just shit luck. But it's it shows that he's still willing to keep going and prove himself, but it's just getting to that time where it's how long do you have? What do you do in this situation? And if this truly is, if this keeps going though, in the next few, 2 to 5 years, what do you do in this situation? Do you just hate up the racing gear and just pass it along to somebody else, or do you just try to figure out some kind of improvement? That's just my personal take on it.
Sonny, Shani, did you guys want to add into this?
Me personally, I just don't know what to do. 2022, whole reason Brad was down in the standings was because a massive penalty at Atlanta pushed him all the way down. But this one is just a genuine bad season. Do I even call it a bad season? It feels like a horrific season. He's way down at 32nd in points, and his teammates are right on the cut line. So, I'm not sure, we talked, the same thing was happening with Ty Gibbs, and he's sorta kind of figured it out, but not too greatly, though, but I don't know what happened. If it was just something with the crew chief pairing and Jeremy Bowens going in for Matt McCall, I guess it would make sense, but I don't know. It's just I don't think there's that much time. If he doesn't get Atlanta or Daytona, then what else can he do?
Screwed. Channy, do you want to chime in on this at all?
Nah. I think I'm okay for right now.
Okay. Well, with that's all I've got. Anyone else want to say anything?
Yeah, I want to say something. Shout out the head trucks.
Honestly,
right.
I have no other topics except I hope to God that we can get the 6. Here's the thing: 20 and my 20 and 12 team doing a great job. 6, what we need to figure something out quick, and we need to do it fast because I'm running out of time cards to support to basically keep pushing forward. So I hope that I don't have to push. If something happens at our home track, then I might push the panic button. But for now, I guess let's keep hope. I guess.
Well, Rowdy Nation, be careful because I have hope, and you all know what happens when you allow me to have hope. I'm out for violence the next time something happens.
You're delusional.
I've been delusional.
All right. Well, with that note, that's going to do it for this episode of the Couch Racing Chronicles. We are on to Michigan, and then when we come back from Michigan, we will be on our way to Mexico City. This is AJ signing out. Y'all take it easy.
This is Sonny signing out. Peace out.
This is Channy signing out. I will catch y'all on the flip side.
And this is Checker signing out, ladies and gentlemen. We're racing off to Michigan. Have a great week, and we will see you after Michigan. So, see y'all later. Signing out.